Tom Doody, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Doody in a Google search for my site. From Cleveland Jewish News, Peter B. Lewis, dead at 80. Peter Lewis, who shepherded Progressive Corp from a small-time operation to one of the largest auto insurers in the country, later became a millionaire backer of marijuana legalization, died Saturday. He was 80. Philanthropic advisor Jennifer Frucci said Lewis died at his home, Coconut Grove, Florida. Funeral arrangements were still pending as of late November 23, Frucci said. Progressive President and CEO Glenn Renwick said the company owes its growth, its culture, its openness to Lewis. He said Lewis, caring, and honesty are bedrock values in the company. The history of Progressive is very much the history that Peter Lewis laid down. Renwick said, a willingness to take risks and constantly learn and grow are principles that can be traced to Lewis, he added. He really was a special person. There's no doubt about that, Renwick said. Barbara R. Snyder, Case Western Reserve University president, said she's saddened by the news of Lewis's death. Peter B. Lewis pushed the boundaries of conventional thinking. Everything that he did and left the world a better place for his passions. Snyder said in a statement issued to the Cleveland Jewish News, he revolutionized the industry and then went on to help and shape academic and cultural experiences of thousands through his philanthropy. We at Case Western are deeply saddened by his passing and profoundly grateful for his contributions to our university and the broader Cleveland community. David Lazar worked for Progressive in its early years, joining the firm in 1965, raising it to the position of Senior Vice President of Corporate Development. The first Master of Business Administration, Harvard Business School, 1963. Peter Lewis ever hired. Lazar left Progressive in 1976 to become president of Capital American Life Insurance, another special insurance agency based in Cleveland. He now works for Schrazer International in Los Angeles firm that does background investigations for corporate clients. Although Lazar went into public accounting after graduating from Harvard Business School, he soon discovered that field didn't fit him. So when Lewis offered him a job, he jumped ship at Arthur Andersen. Lewis had just taken over Progressive and was Lazar's first real boss. He was high energy, was enjoyable to be with, he was easy to work with, and he was someone that I felt I could count to do the right thing. Lazar said November 24th. He was truly a tremendous and positive influence on me because he was the first person I really worked for, and he taught me some values that I think I carried forth. The importance of integrity, of hard work, having high expectations, the golden rule, the importance of planning and thinking through. Lazar's, who lives in Cleveland's East Side, noted that during his stint with Progressive, the company grew at an annual compound rate of 35%. Lewis became chief executive officer of Progressive in 1965, built the company from his father, co-founder, 1937. Lewis held the leadership post for more than 35 years, during which Progressive and Lewis's fortune steadily grew. In 2006, Forbes calculated his net worth at $1.4 billion. Lewis turned his wealth into support for a number of progressive causes. including strong support for marijuana reform that began after he used it following a leg amputation. Lewis helped bankroll marijuana-related causes in Ohio, Washington, and Massachusetts. In a 2011 interview with Forbes magazine, Lewis said he first tried marijuana at age 39. He said he found it to be better than scotch and later relied on it for pain management. I don't believe that laws against things that people do regularly, like safe and responsible use of marijuana, make any sense, he told Forbes. Everything that has been done to enforce these laws has had a negative effect with no results. Lewis also spent time as a trustee of the Guggenheim Museum and stepped down in 2005, saying he disagreed with the institution's focus on international expansion. He had been a leading benefactor of the museum, donating tens of millions of dollars. For a time, Lewis largely stopped giving to local Cleveland area concerns, saying there was little cooperation among civic leaders or public development. Last year, however, he donated $5 million to the Cleveland Institute of Arts, the Plain Dealer reported. At the time, he said he made a donation because the development plan that impressed him in 2004 had met his expectations. Lewis also gave generously to his alma mater, Princeton. He donated more than $220 million to the school, where he also served as a trustee. Lewis spoke at Case Western Reserve University 2013 commencement ceremony. He also received an honorary degree from the university on what marked the 10th anniversary of the opening of the Weatherhead School of Management that bears his name. Lewis and architect Frank Gehry, his longtime friend, worked together on a Peter B. Lewis building at CWRU, a project funded by Lewis, $36.9 million lead gift. Lewis, who grew up in Cleveland Heights, also appeared at CWRU's graduation ceremony in 2008, Snyder's ceremony as leader of the university. That year, Lewis received the inaugural President Award for Visionary Achievement. Case Western Reserve is the alma mater of Lewis. His mother, father, sister, and ex-wife, Toby Devon Lewis, as well as several earlier generations of his family, according to a previous CJN report. This has been Tom Doody, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Doody in a Google search for my site. Thank you for listening. Have a good day, good evening, or restful night's sleep. Ciao.